Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Radiant Central, and I'm your host Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So today I'm going to answer a question on how to gain weight the healthy way. I love this question because this person doesn't want to eat junk food to gain weight, and there's no reason to. You can definitely do this in a healthy way. So first thing that I would suggest is increasing portions of calorie-dense food. So a calorie-dense food is anything from avocado to coconut meat or coconut milk, nuts and seeds, beans and legumes, cheese, healthy oils, meats, things like that. Things that are smaller in density but higher in calorie. And so you can either increase the portions of these foods either in your meals or add them in as extra snacks throughout the day. This will help to increase the calories that you're consuming every day. The next thing I do suggest is to figure out what your metabolic type is. A lot of times people don't really think about this. And it's important, not only for gaining weight or maintaining someone's weight, but also to lose weight. So what that means is that some people burn carbohydrates more efficiently and faster than proteins and fats. And then there's other people that burn proteins and fats more efficiently than carbohydrates. And that's kind of why, like in the weight loss world, there's two camps, right? There's the high carbohydrate, low fat camp, and then there's the high protein, high fat, low carbohydrate camp. And both claim that if someone follows their diet, they're going to lose weight. And as we know, that some people have great success on these diets and other people don't. And the reason why is because not everyone's the same. Some people metabolize carbohydrates much more efficiently than they metabolize fats and proteins. And so let's say someone wants to gain weight and they're metabolizing carbohydrates really quickly, then no matter how many carbohydrates they add into their diet, they're never going to gain weight. But if they suddenly start adding in more fats and proteins, then they're able to gain the weight. So how to figure this out is the easiest way and the simplest way is to just eat as you normally do and keep a food journal. And I suggest keeping a food journal for 1 or 2 weeks. Okay, so every meal you write down what you're eating, and then after the week or two, review your food journal. And think to yourself, okay, like what am I seeing when I'm eating throughout the day? Are my meals predominantly high in carbohydrates, or are they higher in proteins and fats? And when you're able to sort of see a pattern, then you're able to see, oh, okay, my diet, I eat a lot of carbohydrates, right? And that means I'm eating a lot of grains, I'm eating a lot of fruit, I'm eating a lot of root vegetables, I'm eating a lot of starches. Okay, those are carbohydrates, and some beans and legumes would fit into more carbohydrates. So if someone sees, most of my food I'm eating are these food groups, and they're trying to gain weight and they can't gain weight, then they know that they're burning and metabolizing the carbohydrates at quite a fast rate. And so no matter how much more they add of it, they might not be able to gain any weight on it. But the moment that they start actually increasing fats and proteins, then suddenly they notice, the weight's starting to come on, or I'm able to sustain my weight because their bodies metabolize and break down these foods much slower. So, and then the same thing would be if someone were to look over their food journal from past 2 weeks and they see, I actually don't eat so many carbohydrates. I tend to eat a lot of fats and proteins. I'm eating a lot of nuts and seeds, a lot of avocado, a lot of meats, a lot of fish, a lot of oils, things like that, then they would know that their body is efficiently using the fuel from these foods, from these fats and proteins, and that if they want to gain weight, then they should be increasing the carbohydrates. Okay, so it's just kind of figuring out, what am I breaking down and metabolizing really quickly, and if you know what food groups those are, then you can add in the other food groups that will help you to gain weight. Now, there's also people that sort of are stuck in the middle, right? They look over their food journal and they're like, well, I'm eating a lot of carbs and I'm also eating a lot of fats and proteins, so what do I do? What I suggest then is if you find yourself kind of in the middle and it's kind of like a balance between the two, then for a few weeks, increase the carbohydrates in your diet. Doesn't mean you need to take out the fats and the proteins, it just means increase carbohydrates and see how that goes. If you notice, I'm actually gaining some weight, then you know you're on the right track. If you notice now nothing's happening, I'm actually losing weight, then you go the opposite direction, add in more fats and proteins. Now, when you're kind of rearranging your diet, right, and you realize, okay, I'm I'm on a very low carbohydrate diet and this is not helping me to gain weight, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to cut the carbohydrates out. It just means you need to add in more fats and proteins. And the same would go if you notice you're on a very high fat and protein diet and you're not gaining weight on it and they need to add in more carbohydrates. Doesn't necessarily mean you cut the fat and protein out. Don't cut it out, just increase the carbohydrate, because it's important to have a well-balanced diet and not go too much on one side or too much on the other. Oh, and one other thing too that I suggest is if someone's still they're still having a hard time gaining weight and no matter how much they're eating, they're just continue losing, I suggest then also getting tested for food allergies. A lot of times people don't realize that they have either a gluten intolerance or a gluten allergy or a lactose intolerance. And when you're consuming foods that you're allergic to, that also impairs your absorption of a lot of the nutrients and also impairs your digestion. And so no matter how much someone eats, when they are eating a lot of foods that they're allergic to, they won't gain weight, they have a lack in energy and a lot of other issues. So if you think this might be a possibility, or you've tried so many things to gain weight and nothing's helping, I do suggest going to see a doctor and getting tested for food allergies. All right, so I'm wishing you guys a fabulous day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.